With outgoing Lethbridge Hurricanes defenseman Logan McCutcheon inside the Lethbridge Hurricanes dressing room following a tremendous season and a tremendous career for Logan, Saskatoon product. Let's start with what it meant to you to be a Lethbridge Hurricane as it comes to a close. I know it's probably hard to believe that it's at this point, but when you think about the last 6 years, what did it mean to be a part of this organization?
It was everything. You know, ever since the draft, I've been really welcomed here by the staff, by the team, by everybody. So to be able to kind of stick around and be a Hurricane for my whole career, couldn't have asked for it any other way. It's been unbelievable.
How much pride did you take in being able to play your entire career in one market? Because that doesn't happen as much anymore. So to be able to go from a 15-year-old that's just drafted to a 21-year-old leaving, what does that mean?
Yeah, it means a lot. You know, I think that ever since I got here, I've been really bought in with the culture that's set here, and I've always wanted to win here. So I think that being able to be here, stick around, and try and get that last championship here in my last year, I think it was awesome.
Talk about the run. Obviously come up short in the third round, but after the playoff success or lack thereof the years prior, to go on a run and go to the conference final, how much fun was it, and what was it like to be a player in it and in the community? Yeah,
it was unbelievable to do it with this group of guys in here. I wouldn't ask for it any other way, and with the fans that we have here, you know, we were packing that barn on Tuesday, Wednesday nights, so it was a lot of fun to be able to play in those atmospheres and those environments.
Game 7, is that maybe the highlight of the career for you?
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. Yeah.
Talk about that moment. You're facing elimination going into Game 6 in that Calgary series. You guys play maybe your best game of the year and follow it up with a Game 7 victory on the road. So what's the mentality like when you're facing elimination like that and you come up with 2 big wins like that?
Yeah, when you're playing a team like Calgary, it's hard to really get any momentum going sometimes just because of how tight they play, but I think that those were 2 of our best games of the year. We came out, we were urgent, we were desperate, we knew that we had to win if we wanted to keep going, and I think we really proved that with how we played.
You mentioned the group of guys. It felt like from a little bit removed, it might have been one of the more closer groups in your time with the Hurricanes. So maybe talk about the culture that was built this season and the group of players that really kind of pulled on the rope together.
Yeah, I think that going to the culture thing, I think Bill did a great job last year coming in and kind of setting the standard of what we want to accomplish in this organization. I think it just carried through to this year with a lot of guys kind of coming back to start, and then obviously we made some moves, but all those new guys coming in also bought into that culture and bought into that kind of winning belief, and I think that everything turned out unbelievably well.
When you think about your 6 years as a Lethbridge Hurricane, and it's hard to believe that it was 6 years. I've been with the Hurricanes for 11, so you've been here over half of my time. So when you think of it as you walk out the door onto the next thing, and we'll talk about that coming up, but what does it mean for you to have been here this long and to help set the foundation of the organization moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. It means a lot. You know, we had a couple of years of struggle in there with the playoffs and everything, so be able to kind of have some hope and have a deep playoff run, it means a lot, because I think that for the guys that have been here for a long time, we've put a lot of work into that and trying to build up to that. So I think that with the 5 or so of us that have been here, it means a lot for sure.
You mentioned the draft. You go back to your draft year, a 3rd-round pick, 60th overall by the Hurricanes in the 2019 WHL Prospects Draft. Take us back to that moment when you found out that you'd been drafted, and what at that time did you know about Lethbridge and maybe the conversations that you had? Yeah,
I was thrilled. You know, draft day was exciting. It was nerve-wracking for sure, but to be able to be picked by the Hurricanes, it was a huge honor. I didn't really know a whole much about the organization. I was kind of more knew about just the Saskatchewan teams at that point, but was super excited and came to camp, and like I said earlier, just extremely welcomed instantly and found it at home right away.
Your first game, what was that experience like?
It was scary for sure. I was nervous, but I think that I handled it decently well. Didn't get a whole lot of shifts, but I think they turned out pretty good when I was out there.
The far blue line.
Yeah.
Tell that story. For those that don't know, your first game, you went to the wrong blue line for opening night.
Yeah, we go and line up down the blue line or whatever. They're announcing everybody, and Kathy's down there telling me where to go, and I'm kind of scared, not really paying attention, and I just assumed it would be the close blue line from warm-up, and it was not the close blue line.
Went to the near blue line. I'm supposed to go to the far blue line. That's always one of the things that I think about your career and have a chuckle about, because it obviously preluded to such a wonderful career. When you think about your impact here, what do you hope that is?
I hope that it's just kind of like we're talking about the culture that we've made here. I think that every day we show up to the rink and we're trying to get better. We're trying to take steps to reach our individual goals, but ultimately that team goal of getting that championship.
What did Lethbridge mean to you? People always talk about the community and the people around the organization and the people that support it. So what did Lethbridge mean to you?
Yeah, it meant everything. Obviously starting with people at the rink, like teammates, coaches, staff, everybody were unbelievable. But then branching out a little bit, you got the Billets who were unbelievable for me over the years, and just the fans and the city and the environment of it. It's unbelievable.
I often wonder that this is maybe a question for the parents, Kirk and Leanne, of course, your mom and dad. But to have billets that take you in at 15, you had a couple of different billets over your time in Lethbridge, but how important are the billets to, one, the player in making you comfortable to be able to not only live day to day, but perform at your best, and then the juxtaposition of that of the parents and really becoming family?
Yeah, it's huge. I've been with mine now for 3 years. I had a different one a couple of years ago, but both of them were unbelievable, making you feel like at home, and that's what you want. You want to feel as comfortable as possible, because it's a bit of a unique situation when you first get going, but I think that as you go on, you get more comfortable, and they do become family, and it's huge.
Did it feel like the 6 years that you've been a part of the organization go quickly? Yeah, they flew by. Especially at the end, you just kind of start thinking about it, and it just flies by. For you now, moving forward, you've committed to Quinnipiac to play in the NCAA. Of course, the change that happened this season for Western Hockey League players to be able to go to NCAA. So maybe talk about that opportunity first of that being even an option, because I imagine going into this season that wasn't on your radar. So maybe start there about how the doors opening changed your perspective of what's next in hockey. Yeah, I think it's a real good opportunity for a lot of players. It kind of gives another couple years of development before you make the jump to pro, and being able to do it playing NCAA, it's kind of the best it gets down there. So I think it's a really exciting opportunity for a lot of players. For you, mentioned Quinnipiac. What do you know about Quinnipiac? Maybe talk about the excitement level to go. Yeah, it's a hockey school. They love their hockey out there, so I think that it's really exciting, and they've got a good program. They won it a couple of years ago now, so I think being able to go in there and try and step up and kind of establish myself, it's something that I'm really excited for. Is there a level of nerves to start over, because you've been here for so long? We talked about being part of this organization for 6 years, and now you turn the page to something completely brand new. Yeah, it's different for sure. There's a lot of excitement, but definitely some nerves for sure. Been here for the last 6 years, so it'll be a change for sure, but I think that I'll adjust well and have a good time. Quinnipiac is in Connecticut, 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Boston, right in the middle. Have you ever been there? And maybe talk about the excitement level of going to the East Coast. Yeah, never been out there, but it's exciting for sure. There's a lot going on down there, so hopefully there's some time where we can do some sightseeing and see some different stuff out there. 299 regular season games as a Lethbridge Hurricane. Yeah, 299. 299. So close to that 300. You tell the story, for those that don't know the story. First game of the bubble year, so when I was 16, didn't play, healthy scratch, didn't really think anything of it. I was a little 16-year-old, and then played 255 straight, or 95 straight. Yeah. Got to 299. With the Ironman. Yeah. 295 straight games. Before we end, people talk about Ironman streaks at the pro level and things of that nature. To play 295 straight regular season games, and you didn't miss a playoff game either in that time, another 29, I think. So what does that mean to you, that pride of being able to play every night? Yeah, it's big for sure. I don't like missing games. I like playing. So when there's little bumps or bruises or sicknesses, you kind of just
push it to the side and get ready to go.
Guess the last thought before we wrap up with Logan McCutcheon. The floor yours to say whatever you'd like to the fans and the people in the community that have been around and supported you in your time here.
Yeah, just a huge thank you to everybody, to teammates, to staff, to the office staff, to coaches, to everybody, and obviously to the fans. Thank you guys. It wouldn't be possible without you guys, and I think that all of us really appreciate everything you guys do.
Logan McCutcheon, it's hard to believe that it's come to a close after 6 seasons as a member of this organization, but we're excited to see what's next for you next year at Quinnipiac. We wish you nothing but the best of luck and appreciate you and everything that you've contributed to the organization and answering my questions over 6 years. I'm sure you're excited not to have to do that anymore.
Yeah, thank you, Forbes.